How do you know it's time to quit your job? This is a sensitive topic because we don't ever want to really talk about the idea of teachers leaving the school system because, in most people's minds, teachers are supposed to stay teachers forever from the beginning until they retire, nothing else in between. And if you leave, then you must be a horrible teacher, or maybe you didn't actually really like what you did in the first place, and maybe you just really sucked. All of these things are completely false. We know this, but a lot of folks in the outside world don't really know this. So let's dive into it. When do you know it's time for you to leave the education system? So here's my take. My name is Rebecca Guillory, founder of Believe Beyond You, where I help educators thrive beyond the classroom. So let's talk about this topic. I was in the education system for over a decade, about 15 years. And I thought, honestly, that I would one day start my own school. I just knew, like, this is the thing that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. I love working with students. I love being a teacher. I really, really believe that I'd be there forever. I'm not there anymore. It was a very, very difficult decision to make. And to be honest, it wasn't an overnight decision either. It was more like the water drip, drip, drip. And then over time, it was just my heart wasn't connected to the roles that I was playing as much as it used to be. And I'll tell you this at the very end, so stay to the end. And there was something that happened that made me realize this is a turning point in your life to lean into the things that you've been saying you really want to do and you haven't been focused 100% on it. So I'll tell you that at the end. So how do you know if you are one of my teacher friends, you came across this video and you're at the part of the school year where you're exhausted, you're tired, you're frustrated, and you are considering transitioning out of the school system, but you're just not sure. You're just really, really not sure. One thing that I would say is how you know it's time for you to transition out of the school system. Like I mentioned earlier, if your heart's not in it the way it used to be, at the end of the day, let's be honest, you start to do your students and your colleagues a disservice by staying somewhere when you've already recognized you don't belong there anymore. Now, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. You are more than just a teacher. You are more than just a person that lives, as your students probably think, inside of a school building. You are more than just that title, so much more. So when you start to see yourself really feeling like, gosh, years ago, I had a desire for something, I really wanted to do it, and I put it to the side because I wanted to focus on my job in the education system. You made that decision years ago, and now you might be at a turning point where you're thinking, I want to pick that thing back up. I want to focus on that, right? Know and give yourself grace and know that that's okay. I am a firm believer in you are not just a teacher. Like, there is no such thing as just a teacher. You are so much more than that, right? You are a mother, a sister, a friend. You volunteer in other places. You take on roles outside of the school building. You do so many other things for your community, and you can keep doing those things in other capacities. I think the other thing where you really start to know, like, yeah, it's time for me to go. When you look up and you are exhausted earlier in the year than you are or than you were in previous years, that's a clear sign. Like, your body will tell on you. Like, as much as you try to hide or you try to be resilient or like, no, no, I got it. I can do everything. I can do it all. I've been doing it for years. Your body will start to wear and it will start to break down, and your health will let you know, I'm tired. I am tired and I am ready to navigate onto something different. So when you get to that place where you are recognizing, gosh, school only started 3 weeks ago and I can barely stand, or you realize that you are going to the doctor more than you were in the past, yes, check in with yourself. Your body is telling you something. Don't keep moving and going and rushing and ignoring what your body is trying to tell you. So I'm going to give you one more. If you're really thinking like, is this the season for me? Is this the time where I need to go ahead and start to create my exit strategy? I'm not really sure. I don't know. If you're asking yourself that question, that is a clear indicator that it is probably time to plan your exit strategy. People who like where they are, people who love where they are, that's my dog, Max. He says hi. People who like and love where they are, they're not thinking about leaving. They're not secretly spending their lunch looking for other jobs, right? They're not complaining during happy hour and brunches, or calling up their friends to vent about how much they want to leave. That is a clear indication that it's time to go. So that gives you like three really clear kind of ways to be able to identify if you're in the season of, I think it's time for me to plan my exit strategy. Like I said, I'll be honest with you. When I decided to transition, um, I actually ended up going against the thing that I wanted to do. So I made a decision like, yes, I'm ready to just really transition and focus on some other things that are important to me. And then I got a phone call and I was right back in the school system. And then fast forward a couple of years, I'm moving up in the system. I'm like, oh man, I'm doing all these things. And then I got laid off. Who knew that was a thing in education? Yes, it's a thing in education. And that layoff ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me. I'll talk about that in a different video, because it propelled me to do the thing that I've been saying I wanted to do for a while, which is to focus on some other endeavors, some other passions that I had in my life. So it wasn't that it was just a super easy decision. I know that it's not an easy decision for you necessarily, but your body will tell you, your mind and your heart. And when all three of those things are completely aligned, it's definitely time to start making your exit plan. Start to really think about what transition in life outside of the school system looks like, and feels like for you. So I'm happy to help you and go along that journey with you. I will definitely leave all of my information under this video so you can connect with me whenever you need to. But just remember, you are not just a teacher. Before you were a teacher, you had other things you were doing with your life. And so it will be true if you decide to transition out of the school system. There are plenty of other things that you can do with your life. Stay encouraged. Love you.